Have you ever felt that unsettling sensation that something grand is about to happen in your life? And what if I told you that if you are watching this video before October 5th, this is no mere coincidence? It is because God has a special purpose for you. Now, allow me to share a fascinating story with you. My name is Rebecca Johnson. I am American, and I reside in Charlotte, North Carolina. I am 34 years old and grew up in a Christian family, attending a local Baptist church since childhood. I have always participated in closing ceremonies, but I confess that on several occasions, I felt confused about what God's purpose for my life would be. During that period, I worked as a nurse at Atrium Health Carolina's medical center, dedicating myself especially to the care of critically ill patients. My job was exhausting, but the satisfaction of helping people in their most vulnerable moments made everything more meaningful. However, everything changed on a winter night when a heavy snowstorm took over the city. I was returning home after a 12-hour shift at the hospital, tired, but with a sense of duty fulfilled. The roads had become treacherous, covered by a layer of snow and ice that was accumulating rapidly. As I drove along Interstate 425, a truck, unable to maintain control on the slippery road, collided with my car from the side. The last memory I have is of the deafening sound of the collision and the strange sensation of spinning in the air. In an instant, I realized I was floating above the scene of the accident. My car, completely destroyed, stood out in the chaos, while several people rushed toward me, trying to help. I watched, in a state of floating, as the paramedics arrived and pulled me from the wreckage. My inert body was carefully placed in the ambulance, and yet I remained conscious, observing everything from above. Curiously, I did not feel fear. A strange sense of peace and detachment took over me. Then, everything around me began to transform. The scene of the accident faded away, and I found myself being pulled into a tunnel of radiant light. The experience was indescribable, as if all the weight, all the pain, and all the worries had been gently lifted from my being. As I traversed that tunnel, a wave of love so deep and full enveloped me that, had I still been in my physical body, tears would have streamed down my face. As I emerged from the tunnel, I found myself in a place of indescribable beauty. It was not quite a garden, nor a city, but something that surpassed any landscape we know. The colors were intensely vibrant, and the light radiated in a stunning way. Every detail around me seemed to come alive, pulsating with its own energy. It was in that moment that I realized I was not alone. A presence began to approach, emanating a light so intense that, at first, I could not discern its features. However, as the figure approached, an instant recognition took hold of me. It was Jesus. There was no need for introductions or explanations. His essence spoke for itself. My soul recognized him immediately. Her eyes, deep as the cosmos, seemed to hold the entire universe, radiating at the same time an unshakable authority and limitless love. Her smile emanated a peace that transcended any human understanding. She wore simple clothes, but they seemed to shine with their own light. When Jesus approached, his words echoed in my heart. His voice was like the sound of many waters, powerful, yet gentle, authoritative, but full of warmth. Rebecca, my daughter. He smiled in a way that seemed capable of healing entire worlds. It was not by chance that you are here at this moment. Every word he spoke echoed not only in my ears, but in every fiber of my being. Many go through life without realizing the divine moments that surround it. Unbeknownst to them, I stand at the door of their hearts, said Jesus. However, you have been chosen to hear a truth that carries eternal weight and divine meaning. As Jesus spoke, a feeling of supernatural understanding flooded my being. It was as if every word was being etched directly into my soul. Rebecca, when I allow a message to reach you at the precise moment, it means that I have already prepared the ground for the seed of truth to take root in your essence. You have been preserved, carried, and protected. even in ways you cannot perceive. Then, Jesus reached out and revealed to me a sequence of scenes from my life, moments when I was on the brink of danger. I was enveloped by an invisible protection. The decisions I made, which at first seemed insignificant, actually shielded me from major problems. People appeared in my life exactly when I needed them the most. I realized then how every detail had been carefully orchestrated with divine precision. Jesus explained that the difference between a life of wandering and a life with purpose lies in recognizing God's timing when it presents itself. Many people spend years ignoring the signs, disregarding the whispers, and turning away from the opportunities I place before them. In that moment, Jesus revealed to me how many times I had neglected his guidance in my life. He made me realize how I let the turmoil of the world drown out his voice, and how in challenging moments, I doubted his presence. I do not speak at random, he continued. Every word I say has a purpose. Every message I share has a specific destination. When I decide that a message should reach you before a certain moment, it means that your life is about to enter a new phase. Jesus revealed to me that our life on earth is like a cycle of seasons and well-defined times. I observed how he coordinates every detail, ensuring that everything happens at the exact moment, even when we lack understanding of the purpose that lies behind the difficulties we face. As it is recorded in the scriptures, everything has its appropriate time. There is a specific time for every purpose under heaven. Jesus referred to Ecclesiastes 3:1, reminding us of this truth. I have established times and seasons not to cause confusion, but to guide you on your journey. Your life has a purpose. The challenges you have faced did not arise by chance. Even the tears you have shed have meaning and are not in vain. I cherish them. I count them one by one. I know each one of them. Jesus approached me with infinite tenderness and touched my spiritual face. For a long time, you have been carrying the weight of your questions. You have been asking yourself, when will things change? When will the turning point come? When will the pain make sense? When will your prayers be answered? And I am here to tell you that the moment is closer than you think. The answer you seek is nearer than you imagine. The transformation is already approaching, knocking at your door. As Jesus spoke, a supernatural certainty invaded my being. I realized that God had established an exact moment for each promise in my life, and that this time was not based on human calendars, but rather on the perfect divine plan. Pay attention to the words of Jesus, who speaks with seriousness in his eyes. God's timing requires that we be ready. If you enter a new phase unprepared, you may miss the fullness of what he has planned for you. That is why I come here with a forewarning. Prepare your spirit, align your heart, set aside distractions, and silence the noise around you, for I am about to act. Jesus revealed to me how, in the past, I missed valuable opportunities because I was too busy, too distracted, and too hurt to notice. Enough of doubts, enough of hesitations, enough of delays, said Jesus, with a loving confirmation. You cannot remain stuck in the old chapter when I have already written a new one. It is not possible to live in the shadows when I have led you toward the light. You cannot remain in the current when I have already declared your freedom. Suddenly I realized that my life resembled a book, where each chapter symbolized a distinct season. I noticed that some of these chapters had already come to an end, but I still found myself rereading them, trapped in the memories of the past. It was as if I were unable to turn the page and discover what God had in store for me in the future. Frequently, the enemy tried to bring you down, Jesus continued. Many times, the circumstances could have hurt you. There were moments when you believed you wouldn't be able to move forward. And yet, here you are, still standing, still breathing, still listening. But why? Because I wouldn't allow your story to come to an end before the promise was fulfilled. It was then that Jesus revealed to me specific moments when the enemy tried to prematurely interrupt my journey. However, God's protective hand was there, ensuring my preservation. Your life is the clearest evidence that the enemy's plans have not succeeded, Jesus stated, with a look full of victory. What was meant to bring you down has actually only prepared the way for your resurrection. With a sweeping gesture of his hand, Jesus revealed to me how God operates behind the scenes of our lives, even when we do not perceive any movement around us. Do not underestimate what he is about to accomplish in your life. You may look around you and not notice any change in sight. You may observe your current situation and wonder if anything is really moving. But I know. My most significant work happens in silence. After all, seeds do not germinate immediately after being planted. Roots develop in the depths of darkness, long before the fruit begins to sprout on the surface. It was Jesus who revealed to me that God acts according to spiritual principles that often challenge our human logic. I realized that what we often consider a delay is, in fact, God's divine process, which takes care of every detail with perfection. Just as he has been working on the invisible aspects of your life, organizing, preparing, aligning, and orchestrating everything with care. Now, I tell you, pay attention. The season of hidden growth is transforming into a phase of visible advancement. However, Jesus warned me with a serious look. When I begin to elevate you, do not expect everyone to celebrate this achievement. Not everyone will understand your progress. Some will remain on the sidelines, others will resist, and there will even be those who will feel envy. That's why I often isolate you before promoting you. With profound wisdom, Jesus revealed to me that, at certain moments, he removes people from our lives, not as a form of punishment, but rather as an act of protection. I realized that some connections I lamented losing were, in fact, limitations that God had decided to remove so that I could grow. I see people who cannot bear the weight of their calling, Jesus explained. I remove the voices that could overshadow my instructions. I take away the crutches you used to lean on, so that when you rise, you know it was not man, it was not chance, it was not luck, but God, and only Him, who lifted you up. Jesus drew even closer, his eyes penetrating deeply into my soul. That's why time is so important, he said. You need to take this seriously. Don't dismiss this message. Don't treat it as if it were just a motivational word. This is a divine call. Rise from your sleep. Leave your excuses behind, and free yourself from the fear that binds you. I am here, ready to act, as long as you are willing to trust. Jesus revealed to me that many people wait for perfect conditions before obeying God. But the truth is that those ideal conditions will never come. It is challenging to take steps when the ground seems unstable. But you trust the one who established the foundations of the earth. It is difficult to obey when the path does not reveal itself clearly, but you have the assurance that God sees the outcome from the beginning. Jesus then directed his gaze to a passage in Hebrews 11:1. He said, "Faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen." With this, he revealed to me that true faith is not based on what our eyes can see, but rather on the deep conviction that our hearts have about the unchanging character of God. I am inviting you to trust me in a deeper way. Jesus continued, "It is time to set aside what is comfortable and begin to embrace what is eternal. It is time to stop focusing on what is missing and start walking in the abundance that I have already promised you. It is time to leave behind the failures of the past and start preparing for the victories to come." In a moment of reflection, Jesus revealed to me how I had allowed my disappointments and failures to shape my identity. I realized that I accepted limitations that, in fact, He never imposed on me. Your life should not be measured by what you have lost, but by what God is about to reveal. You may think, but I am not ready. Before we continue, just one request. Please subscribe to our channel. It really helps us keep going. I am not worthy. I am not strong enough. Let me say one thing. It doesn't matter. Before we continue, just one request. Please subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot to keep going. No one I call is prepared, at least in human terms. However, when I choose someone, I equip them. When I meet them, I strengthen them. And when I send them, I cover them. Jesus held my spiritual hands and looked deeply into my eyes. Do not be discouraged by your own weakness. Trust in God's unlimited strength. Do not define your future by the mistakes of the past. Instead, build it based on the eternal plan He has for you. It was in that moment that Jesus came close and touched my deepest doubts, the ones I could barely admit even to myself. And if you believe that your mistakes disqualify you, allow me to remind you of something important. God is a true artist in transforming brokenness into beauty. He takes the shattered fragments of your story and uses them to create something unshakable. Jesus revealed to me that our scars are not marks of defeat, but rather testimonies of our survival. I realized that each wound I carried throughout life was not allowed to destroy me, but rather to shape me and prepare me for a much greater purpose. The scars you carry are not marks of defeat, but rather testimonies of your survival. Each one tells a story, revealing the strength you possess and the struggle you faced. What you have overcome transforms into a powerful legacy, capable of inspiring and strengthening others. Remember, God does not waste pain. Every challenge you have faced has prepared you for the mantle you are about to assume. Jesus then presented me with a clear and urgent choice. You must decide. Will you believe in God, or will you allow doubt to consume you? Will you join the faith or remain trapped in fear? Are you ready to strengthen your spirit and move forward? Or would you prefer to ignore the call that God is making to you? The decision is in your hands. God has already made the promise, but you need to choose to walk towards it. It is a choice to align with it. It is a choice to believe. Jesus revealed to me that our everyday decisions, which may seem insignificant, have eternal consequences. I observed that whenever we choose to trust in God, instead of relying solely on our own perceptions, we are making room for His power to manifest in our lives. Do not take this moment lightly, Jesus warned. This is a prophetic interruption. God is present here, as He desires to capture your full attention. At this moment, Jesus made a declaration that resonated deeply within my spiritual being. You are on the brink of a divine unfolding that will accelerate your imagination. Doors that were sealed will open. Relationships will be realigned. Unexpected opportunities will arise, those you never even imagined seeking. An inner strength will awaken in you, something you didn't know you possessed. And above all, the presence of God will envelop you in ways you have never experienced before. With a sweeping gesture, Jesus revealed glimpses of the future that God had reserved for me. It was not about specific events, but the essence of what was to come. I could glimpse a deep purpose, a transformative influence, healing, restoration, and an intimacy with God that I had never experienced before. Lift your eyes, for what is to come is much greater than everything you have ever experienced. Elevate your spirit, for God is closer to you than you imagine. Strengthen your faith, for this moment is not just another phase. It is a new opportunity for transformation. This is your moment. Jesus continued with his explanations, revealing that we are living in an era of prophetic acceleration, where God is fulfilling His purposes at an unparalleled speed. There are periods in history when everything transforms, moments when nations transform, lives are redirected, and destinies are rewritten. This is one of those moments for you. It is not just another day on the calendar. It is a divine new beginning, a sacred interruption, a true spiritual portal. Jesus revealed to me that God's times and seasons are not merely random, but rather carefully orchestrated. Each of them is designed to align various factors, whether personal, relational, national, or global, with the aim of fulfilling His divine purposes. If you are hearing this message, it is because God has placed a special trust in you, preparing you in advance. Not everyone has the opportunity to hear. Not everyone receives this message, But you, in a unique way, have been chosen by God to be alerted before everything. Jesus offered me clear guidance to prepare for what was to come. Consecrate yourself, he told me. Remove the distractions that have suffocated your spirit. Silence the voices that have drowned out the gentle whisper of God. Forgive those you have kept bound in the chains of resentment. Free yourself from the burdens that were never yours to carry. Jesus revealed to me specific areas of my life that needed care and attention. There were relationships that cried out for forgiveness, habits that drained my spiritual energy, and priorities that were completely disorganized. And above all, there was the need to trust. Trust with a faith capable of moving mountains. Trust in the kind of surrender that brings true peace. Trust in the boldness that refuses to bow down to fear. It was then that Jesus took my hands and led me to an even higher place, from where I could contemplate a broader panorama of spiritual reality. I realized that our battles here on earth are temporary when compared to eternal truths. Our choices today not only affect our lives, but also reverberate through the generations to come. Therefore, stand before God and declare, with all the intensity of your being, I am ready. I am surrendered. I will not lose anything that you have designated for me. May these words not be empty, but rather a cry that echoes from the depths of my soul. It was then that Jesus approached and touched my heart. A wave of love, power, and purpose flooded my spiritual being. God preserved me, chose me, and now calls me to walk my destiny with the strength that He Himself offers me. As I enter this new season, keep this truth in your heart. The same God who gave life to the heavens and the earth, the one who commands the stars and guides the oceans, is the same God who walks by your side. He is within you and ahead of you, always present. It was this God that Jesus mentioned when citing Isaiah 41:10. Do not be afraid, for I am by your side. Do not let yourself be discouraged, for I am your God. I will be by your side to strengthen and help you. With my victorious right hand, I will uphold you. Do not retreat. That does not exist. Do not doubt yourself. Move forward with courage and determination. Finally, your moment has arrived. Jesus paused and looked at me with a gaze full of love, as if He could see every nuance of my soul. And yet, He loved me completely. Move forward, He said, but not as the same person you were yesterday, but as someone who has awakened, strengthened, and anchored unwaveringly in God. May your life become a living testimony that when God speaks, and when His child believes, nothing on earth or in the heavens can prevent the fulfillment of His divine plan. Jesus then laid His hands on my head in a gesture of blessing. From that moment on, the decision was in His hands. Will you rise? Will you believe? Will you surrender? At that moment, a deep feeling overwhelmed me. I knew I needed to return. An intense sense of urgency hung in the air. It wasn't fear, but rather a deep sense of purpose. Jesus smiled, as if He could understand exactly what I was feeling. You have a mission to fulfill, my daughter. Go and share what you saw and heard. Suddenly, a force pulled me back through that tunnel of light. The experience was quick, almost instantaneous, and in the next moment, a sharp pain pierced through me. At the same time, urgent voices echoed around me. When I finally opened my eyes, I realized I was in the trauma unit of Atrium Health. The doctors and nurses showed a mix of surprise and relief. "She's back!" exclaimed one of the nurses, her eyes shining with emotion. "It's a miracle." The truth is that I had lost my vital signs for almost 7 minutes. In the days that followed this extraordinary experience, I began a long journey of physical recovery. I had several broken ribs, a quite serious situation that required surgery to repair the internal damage. However, the most significant transformation I experienced was not just physical, it was in fact spiritual. My perspective on life changed completely. What once seemed so crucial, concerns about career, status, and material possessions now appeared insignificant in light of the spiritual reality I had experienced. This transformation made me see life in a new way, imbued with a deep sense of purpose and urgency. Aware that each moment is a chance to connect with the divine plan, my relationship with God has significantly strengthened. Prayer has ceased to be just a ritual. It has transformed into an intimate conversation with the one who knows every detail of my life. The Bible has become something new and vibrant for me. It is no longer just a set of rules and narratives, but a true guide for my spiritual journey and a love letter from the Creator. I began to notice God's signs in my daily life, the divine coincidences, the doors that opened, and the connections that emerged in surprising ways. I learned to hear His voice in moments of silence, to perceive His guidance in the gentle whispers of the Holy Spirit. My perspective on challenges has transformed. Instead of viewing problems as barriers, I began to see them as opportunities for strengthening my faith. In moments of difficulty, I always remember the wise words of Jesus. Do not measure your future by the mistakes of the past, but by God's eternal plan. This reflection inspired me to share my experience and the lessons I have learned throughout my life. I felt a true calling to do this, as if it were my duty to convey this message. I began my journey by sharing experiences in small groups at church. Over time, this opportunity expanded into larger conferences and events. Many people were deeply touched and transformed as they heard how Jesus taught me about divine timings and the importance of being prepared for the new seasons that God presents to us. I then decided to transform my professional journey. I remained in the healthcare field, but I created a ministry dedicated to people with terminal illnesses, combining palliative care with spiritual support. I realized how my testimony was able to bring hope and peace to those facing death, dissipating fear and replacing it with a new expectation. Today, 5 years after my near-death experience, I live each day with the certainty that we are always on the brink of new and divine seasons. I learned to give myself completely, to trust fully, and to walk by faith, even when the path ahead is not clear. My message to everyone listening to my story is clear. Do not let divine moments pass you by. God is always communicating, always guiding us and preparing the way. The seasons of life change. Circumstances transform, but His love and purpose remain unshakable. In that transcendental encounter, Jesus taught me a valuable lesson. The difference between a life of wandering and a life with purpose often comes down to the ability to recognize God's timing when it knocks at our door. It is essential that we do not ignore the signs, that we do not disregard the whispers that guide us, and that we do not turn away from the divine opportunities that arise in our path. Prepare yourself, for the God who created the heavens and the earth, who commands the stars and directs the oceans, is orchestrating every detail of your life with divine precision. When He speaks and you believe, nothing, neither on earth nor in the heavens, can prevent His divine plan from unfolding for you. What an incredible and transformative story. The Bible brings us a powerful message in Isaiah, chapter 41, verse 10. Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. These words remind us that even in the most challenging moments, we are never alone. The divine presence offers us strength and support, guiding us in every step of the journey. I will hold you with my victorious right hand. Thank you very much, Rebecca, for sharing such a deep and revealing experience. And to you who have followed us this far, remember, if this message reached you before October 5th, it is because there is a divine purpose knocking at the door of your heart. May the blessings of heaven flood your life. See you in the next video.